After marriage, wives live in their husband's homestead. Each wife has a separate small house that serves as a kitchen. The house is built of mud and brushwood walls with a thatched roof. The center of this construction is a cattle kraal, usually with only one opening to the outside. Some women also cultivate plots of ground. Millet is an important staple food, but many people also grow corn, peanuts, and tobacco. Cattle are of great symbolic and economic importance. Owning cows marks the step towards adulthood for men. If you do not own any cows, you are considered ill and sick. This is without any status or rank. Every karamojong keeps a special ox among his herd. The oxen of invocation were named according to a list of clan names or on account of color or the shape of the horns. These oxen were highly esteemed and were valued more than parents, wives, or children. If the representatives of the villages gathered on the occasion of ceremonies for local and intertribal feasts and dances, there was slaughtered such an ox. Leadership was vested in the elders, and the clan was the basic unit of administration. The heads of the different clans constituted the Council of Elders, which was responsible for administration, justice, settlement of disputes, maintenance of law and order, and punishment of lawbreakers. They also performed other important functions, such as those connected with rainmaking, and they would guide other celebrations. Before a boy could announce his intention to marry, he had to prove to the elders of the village that he was ready to become a man. In early times, the young man had to set out alone, only with a spear, and to hunt. He had to present the animal's tail. Nowadays, he has to search for cattle to pay the bride wealth. Upon his initiation of manhood, his father had to present him with a bull which was then slaughtered and the meat shared with his boyfriends. During the ritual, the young man would smear himself all over with dung from the entrails of the bull. His hair will be cut by one of his friend. In this moment, he had attained the marriageable age, and with the permission granted by the elders, he could wear ostrich feathers on his head. His father will instruct him, and he would have to look for a girl to get married. The young man would make his choice and inform the father who would have to pay the bride wealth. As soon as the bride arrives in the groom's home, the ceremony would start with a dance, and people began to gather in the cattle kraal. The karamojong were polygamous, with the number of wives only being restricted by the man's possibility to pay the bride wealth. Marriage between close relatives was prohibited. If there had been agreed on a divorce, the bride could return to her father's home, and the bride wealth would have to be returned, also including the bull. Afterwards, she was a free woman again. Sexual intercourse among unmarried men and women was frowned upon, and a pregnancy resulting from such an act was decried. A bride wealth has to be paid to the woman's father, and the young man has to marry the girl. The issue of adultery was in fact a family affair, not a personal one, and the property which was confiscated from the adulterer would be divided as a kind of penalty among the members of the affected family. When a woman was to give birth, her sisters would come to assist. The women acted as midwives. They would wash the baby with cold water. On the day when the woman ended the days of confinement, a ritual ceremony would be performed. Children were given the name of the ancestor, meaning that the firstborn gets the name of the grandfather, the second one that of the grandmother, the third of a great aunt or uncle, and so on. This implied, in effect, that they did not have particular names for the different sexes, no particular names for girls or boys.